Good day. Welcome everyone. Regarding the Kursk operation, it is necessary to understand the reasons for the start of this Kursk operation initiated by Ukraine. The reasons for this Kursk operation are to resolve two urgent problems facing Ukraine. The first is what is happening in the east and south of Ukraine. It is effectively a war, that is, a linear war, a frontal war, which implies that the winner in this war is the one who has more resources. And it is not a surprise. It is not new information that Russia has more resources. So if Ukraine wanted to change this situation on the battlefield, we had to move to so-called raid warfare. That is, a mobile war when there is no solid front line, and the transition to this war should bring it directly to Russia. The second reason is no less important. As far as we know, recently, there have been major negotiations between the United States and Russia to end this war. And there are hopes that it should end, but as far as we know, Russia realizes that these negotiations will be useless, and it is using the current government of the US, the democratic administration of the White House. This is because the White House treats negotiations like a religion. That is, negotiations above all else. And in fact, Russia, Hamas, Iran use them, practicing all techniques. They drag the White House into negotiations and then start blackmailing, saying that if the White House does not fulfill some conditions, they will withdraw from the negotiations. That is why the White House and the United States have been slowing down the armed forces of Ukraine. And they did not authorize the use of long-range weapons to strike directly at Russian territory. This forced Ukraine to accept a difficult situation on the front lines. And accordingly, Ukraine was forced to carry out the Kursk operation, which in fact turned the tide of the war. The military developments moved the war to the territory of the Russian Federation. And it forced Russia to recognize that Russia cannot win, and that there can be no negotiations and no cessation of the war. Moreover, this gave Ukraine an advantage. We carried out the operation directly on its territory and showed that the Russian Federation is not as strong as it was believed to be, and that it does not have enough strength or the ability to actually defend its territory. And the Ukrainian-Russian border, this is a complete change in the existing situation, both political and military. In this war, Ukraine is showing once again that we will defend ourselves and fight. And the question to our partners is whether they are ready to fight with us and actually bring a new sense of safety and security to the world, and to bring peace directly to the European continent and prove that NATO still has the weight and the power that they had 30 years ago. And by the way, I will emphasize once more that the Kursk operation still accomplished one small function. For the last 2 years, I have heard from NATO generals about what is important to them, about their fears concerning NATO's eastern border. Moreover, a month or two ago, I heard from the leaders of the Baltic states. Their fears are that there is a risk of a Russian invasion of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. And now the Kursk operation has actually protected NATO's eastern borders, because Russia was forced to move its armed forces out of Belarus and Kaliningrad to Kursk in order to withstand the onslaught of the Ukrainian armed forces. And in fact, Ukraine has defended NATO as of today. So please support Ukraine in this effort. You do not have a more reliable ally for NATO and the United States in Europe.